Straight up. Let's talk music, man. Let's talk a little bit about your music.
Yes.
What kind of music, for anyone who's watching and they're seeing your face for the first time, yeah? What kind of music do you make?
Me, Dimitri and Niku, I make quite different type of music. At the moment, I've got a released song out called On the Roads, which is grime, hip-hop, rap hip-hop. But I am making new music, dancehall.
Yeah.
Going into different genres and that.
Yeah. So you like to experiment as well, yeah? You like to experiment with different kinds of music, different kinds of genres, yeah? I love that, man. Like right now, do you have any like bodies of work or any EPs or any?
I'm actually working on an EP currently. Yeah, I'm working on an EP.
Love it.
Releasing pain, suffering, transforming. I'm currently in the process of transformation.
I love it.
That EP is going to reflect that.
Yeah.
There should be a part 1 and a part 2.
Usually, artists, usually people that make music, they like both of these processes, innit? But sometimes certain people like one of each, innit? Which one do you prefer? Even Sophia as well. And Serena. Which one do you guys prefer more? Actually, going in studio, creating new music, you know, that process of working on new music in studio, that studio vibe, or to actually go on stage and perform the finished product? What do you prefer more? Going on stage to perform your music to the people, the finished product, or the process of like, you know, that process of that magic feeling of like, oh, I've just created something new, of like that feeling in studio? Yeah, what do you guys prefer? Or you prefer both?
For me, it's definitely the process is the spark first.
Yeah.
That you're just,
wow, it's made up.
It's magic. Yeah. And then you're reliving the process while we're on the stage again. So
Word. Yeah.
So then it's both of them.
Both of them.
But it originates from the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, like that first process of creation, it's an enjoyable process, but it's as enjoyable as, like, I guess it's like a sports person if they're going to the gym or they're climbing a mountain or whatever, and it's working really hard in it, and you're getting it out and you're loving it and that, and you're pouring all that energy out, and that's an amazing time.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like standing on that top of the peak and just looking at whatever, and like, you know, I feel like when you're on the stage and you get to be just in that music, you know, you're not just you're hearing it from two sides because you're performing
and you're seeing other people's reaction as well to your new music,
you're enjoying it as well, and you're getting to kind of for a little bit live inside that music and enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
And I love that part where you can just become, you know, that character, you know, who's performing, and it's for me, it gives me something so special. It makes me feel like so special and good, like in that moment.
Like when you're on stage.
Yeah,
I love proper listening to her explanation. It sounds like you prefer the performance more than the creative process. And it's like
both of them are great.
Yeah,
I love that creation process.
Yeah,
and like, you know, especially not necessarily just like listening back to it and going, oh yeah, that was a banger, but just getting it out, just like letting those feelings and that content just flow out of you, and you do feel proud in that moment, and it is a great release, and it does help you in so many ways. Yeah, but there's nothing like that feeling of, for me, being on stage. I absolutely love being on stage.
How about you, Sophia?
You know what? I like both. I like both as well, because the magic, sometimes you surprise yourself when you're in the studio, like what comes out of you as well. The lyrics are like, oh my days. You find a different dimension of yourself. It is spiritual.
Spiritual, man.
It is.
That's the only word I got for it.
It is. I really enjoyed that.
Like both.
I enjoy that coming out, that you're not sure about how it's going to be, and then you just surprise yourself in your lovely energy. And then the next stage would be performing it for people, and if people like it, that's an even more bonus, because I do it for me first, and then for others. But
I'm with you.
Yeah, I've started to enjoy being on stage more, because it did used to terrify me. At the same time, I used to love it. It's a weird one.
Imagine perfect segue. I swear, perfect segue, because obviously with me, I keep that on a lot. But I used to make music before as well. Obviously, I've got songs on YouTube and that. I'm gonna make more music moving forward. But one thing I used to realize, sometimes when I used to go open mics with a couple of my friends, on our way to the open mics, I used to be shitting myself. Honestly, you know, like of nerves and stuff like that. Because you're obviously, you know, sometimes like all of us as humans, sometimes we fear the unknown, innit? Sometimes you're like, how are they gonna receive my music and all of that? You're just overthinking, innit? But as soon as I used to get on stage, within like a minute or something, it's like everything just used to go out the window, and I just used to enjoy the process. And one thing I wanted to even ask you three, like, do you guys get nervous before you step on stage? Like, do you guys get nervous before you step on stage?
Like,
and if so, how do you deal with your nerves?
So I have to look in the mirror like on Wings video and I have to tell myself,
you're the shit.
I love
you
this.
got
I'm
this.
meant to do this. I got this.
Love it. Yeah,
and just to visualizing really has helped me a lot lately. Like, because sometimes through my trauma that I've had, it's about seeing more out of that trauma. So seeing that sometimes I feel like unworthy, or like this is too good, or no, I can't have this. But actually visualizing helps me see more that it can be reality for me. So it's more actually making myself believe it. And sometimes people outside of me see that I'm capable of it more than sometimes I am. But I really want to change that and like really see it for myself. And visualizing helps me do that as well.
I was literally going to say that because RealityTeam TV, it's like we say, it's about, besides having open and insightful conversation, like I always say, it's education as well. So what is, like, in case someone heard you say visualizing, and they don't know what actually visualizing mean. What does visualizing? What does visualizing mean? Sorry, excuse my English.
So it's like closing your eyes and seeing the image in your inner eye, the third eye, and when you see the image, you see the image of what you want to happen. So instead of seeing everything this can go wrong,
exactly.
but you're seeing actually like you at your highest.
I'm gonna actually try that, you know.
It does work.
You at
before some interviews and before something, I just close my eyes for like a minute or something to just visualize how it could go.
The best, and how you would feel in that moment, how it would actually feel emotionally, how that would be, and I think that's the key to like visualization. It's the emotion, it's the positivity, it's the actually seeing yourself doing it. That's just the key to actually it happening.
I'm with you. How about you, Serena?
I think for me,
yeah,
I used to get so scared.
That's you.
I used to. Right, okay, so in this year, when I applied for Brit School,
when you're younger.
Right, I went up and I sang "Killing Me Softly," and I was shaking like this. I was like this, I was shook, and I used to get proper. I used to get proper.
How old are you?
I was 16 then.
Bless
but
you.
I was already performing them times. I was performing in groups and stuff. I was doing talent shows. I was writing songs. So I had folders of songs,
from day.
And I used to get proper scared. And when I went back onto the stage again, when I first started performing, and some of my first performances was in a collective that we're in called Break the Code. I'm in another collective as well. You know, we used to go to some festivals, some pretty big festivals, and I would at this point now, I'm not like saying to myself like I can't do it. I'm saying to myself I can do it. I just have to go and do it. I would go on the stage and I would be like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this right. I need to do this right. And I'm questioning myself. And that questioning myself, I hope I do this bit right. That was like part of my nerves. So I was going for it. But inside of me, I was still a bit nervous that I wasn't going to get it right. Now I'm not scared at all. Now I have zero nerves.
It took years of practicing and years of performing.
Before I go on the stage,
I'm
not even excited like, there's going to be a good performance. It is a job. Like I've got a responsibility to go up there and fucking do. Sorry for swearing. Sorry.
No. You can fucking swear. You can fucking swear.
Right. Right.
You know what my picnic for watching?
No. Literally, sometimes spirit just makes you just go to the dark like that, innit? Because it's a deep thing. Like sometimes I have to. So as I say, digging deep. I have to effing find that strength.
It's true.
You understand?
Yeah,
to do it. It's my responsibility to myself, to the audience, to the music, and even though I'm enjoying it, the enjoyment comes whilst it's happening.
Once it's happening.
That pre-feeling is just, am I ready? Am I prepared? Is that ready? Are those things happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's
I'm
not
not
like
I'm
nerves.
not
It's
thinking.
not like nerves,
I'm not thinking I can't do this. I'm thinking, what do I need to do to get prepared to go out there and do the best? And whatever I got, I'm like, okay, calm. It's just like if you got the cards that you dealt in any game. I've got my cards. I'm dealt. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is how I'm gonna play them. I'm not thinking, oh right, I ain't got enough cards.
Yeah.
I got these cards. Okay, cool. Now I know what I'll have to do to go and play them. And then I just get out on that stage, and now is the time when I have to let go of all of that. I have to let go of if this is right and that is right and that is there and whatever. I have to let go of that and just flow with it and just have fun, because I realized that part of that performance is actually me just having fun.
Literally.
And my vibe, what I'm carrying is what everybody's gonna carry as well. And I learned that whether I crack the voice or reach the note or lose breath or whatever it is, each time I perform and something like that happens, I'm learning a little bit more about myself, and it just makes my next performance even better. So even in those moments, I'm not worrying about it. I'm putting it in a mental note. Okay, cool. Make sure you don't dance too much on that tune, because you need to hit that note later and you need your breath. Okay, calm. I'm calculating it whilst having fun. So I'm doing all of these things at the same time. But I guess because my mind is just kind of busy just doing the work, not really thinking about are they gonna like me or not. In fact, I'm there for them to like me, even if they don't like me.
Yeah.
I might go out and I might be like, boy, I'm not your usual cup of tea, but I'm gonna have fun convincing you that I am. You understand? Because it's a game now. It's fun. You know?
That's what I used to do when I used to go some of my open mics. I used to have that kind of thing in my head.
Yeah,
like,
it can.
At least some of you are gonna like after this performance.
After this, you're gonna question yourself.
Yeah.
I like that, you know.
Yeah.
And if I can get even a few to feel like that, I feel good. So I cannot feel bad about those who was like, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
Because I'm not worried about that, and I'm not worried about myself if I do well or not, because I'm using those moments to kind of gauge how to do better later, innit? Like, so it becomes more of an enjoyable experience. And I think I've learned that as well through kind of like studying some things, through studying like other artists when they go on the stage. I see artists like, for example, like Beyonce and stuff. She gets on the stage and she growls and she does things and whatever, and she's not necessarily the ideal role model.
Yeah.
But there are some things that she does as an artist where she just doesn't give a damn.
Yeah.
And she's got some of them slating her and other people loving her.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you can't like go to one of her shows and say it was not great.
It's true.
Yeah, as an artist and everything, and a performance, like, you know, like that for me, something like that is like a big performance. And then you look at even like some other artists, like for example, like Sade, who's very demure in her performance. She barely moves at all. And I've seen Sade perform when I was bawling my eyes out, because she's one of my idols. Yeah. And she's on the stage and she's just like,
yeah, she's just like,
and she's just singing.
She wanted her voice.
Yeah, the thing that makes her is that it's her. You know, her voice is beautiful.
Yeah.
But what you fall in love with is not even her voice when you watch her. It's her. Yeah. It's Sade. Her essence on the stage.
But this is what we even spoke about earlier. Like the power of being your true, authentic self is like that. That could bring that out. You get me? When you tap into your real, like your higher self or something like that.
Nerves are wasted because nerves are like you overthinking yourself or thinking about someone and thinking about you. Yeah. You're thinking about you, someone else thinking about you. When is the time to think about what you're actually doing? You know what I'm saying? You got a lot to do, because performing, you know, you might have a band with you. So you have to connect with them. You've got an audience. If you're fortunate enough, there's quite a few people in there. You want to work the room. You want to connect with all of them as well. True. You want to be aware of the stage, where you're standing, moving around the stage. You want to be aware of the sound, how the sound is being projected, to make sure to think about your voice, like, you know, if it's going to project to the furthest parts of the room, or if it's going to be overbearing for maybe those who are just in the front. You know, there's a lot of calculations.
There's a lot of things to think about.
To performing. And if you're wasting your time on being nervous, then you're wasting that energy that could be used in better
And I also feel like sometimes, depending what person you are, when you get nervous, sometimes that even causes you to make a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
To flop, to forget your lyrics, because you're overthinking. Your brain is basically like, you're just overthinking. You've got a lot of things on your mind rather than focusing on your bars.
If you're nervous, people will feel you nervous.
Yeah,
people
even
be nervous watching you be nervous. It's happened to me. It must feel so like awkward.
Has happened to you?
So, early on,
early
I
days,
was nervous.
I
I remember like just being so nervous that it's just not enjoyable when you're that nervous. But then after, like, what happens, I have to shut my eyes as well, so that and start getting my notes out. It's like singing with my eyes shut, and then once I get my first notes out, then I can open my eyes. But that's just my little thing that if I feel safer, just like, because I know if I shut my eyes, I can just be myself. And like just be myself. But if I'm nervous, I've got my eyes open, then it might not come out as good as if I just shut my eyes. But then once I get through that first note,
then you open
your eyes. Embrace the ego. Embrace it, you know.
Embrace the ego.
In one of our first big festival performances, I actually forgot my verse and sung the same verse twice. Literally.
I have to rate that.
And as I was singing it on the stage, I was thinking, oh my days.
Serena, you're different,
but you know what? Yeah, when I came off the stage, people were like, that was so dope. That was so good. Yeah. I was thinking, wow, boy, they didn't even notice. But I'm like, I'm not putting up that video though. But but I realized even from that moment, like sometimes you can make like the biggest mistakes on stage and people don't even notice.
As long as you carry on and you cover it.
When you're performing live, innit? You know what I mean? And that does happen to me because I'm always talking to my consciousness inside. Whenever I'm talking to myself and thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this or whatever. Like, you know, mother goes, yeah. Well, you don't think you're going to do it, yeah? Maybe you're not then. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm not then. And then I don't do it. And I'm like, oh, shit, I should have done it. She's like, okay, don't worry, man. But you're going to do it next time. So this time we went to V-Fest. There's like a song that I do. And I could barely hit it when we were recording it. The note in I Deserve. And I just went up there and I just was like, I'm doing this note. I just literally said to myself in my head, like my mother talking to me in my mind, she's going, are we gonna get it right? Are we gonna do it? And I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna do this. I saw myself. You know that moment when I was little. I'm Shirley Bassey. I was like, I'm gonna hit this note, and I did. And in that moment, I did actually. I visualized.
You hit the note as well.
And I hit that note, man. And I felt so good about it. You did it so good. Literally,
she did really well.
But yeah.
About you, Dimitri?
Go on,
I don't even remember the question.
No, like about nervous.
Do you get nervous before you go on stage to perform, or even to do you get nervous? And what do you do to deal with your nerves? If you get nervous.
When at V-Fest, when I got nervous, I spoke to the girls and they helped me, spoke me into being strong and because it's not necessarily nervous, it's just being vulnerable, sharing my story, my life story, because I talk a lot about my life story in my songs. So it's like, am I sure that I want to share it with the people? How would they perceive me? I'm no longer in that type of, vibration, but I'm singing it. So, do you sometimes feel that for yourself? Because sometimes we get voices inside, innit? Do you sometimes feel like you're contradicting yourself? You're contradicting yourself in terms of like you said, you don't live that life anymore. You're not that person anymore. But you still kind of make the kind of music and that. Do you still feel like sometimes you feel like you contradict yourself? That's something that I've been trying to understand, but I've got to a point where I now see it as acting. So I'm just telling a story, acting and telling a story of my past life
when you go to the music,
contradicting myself. I'm just telling a story, a flashback into my past life.
Okay, that's very interesting. That's very interesting because I know some spoken word. I've got a friend of mine. She's Muslim, proper Muslim. She wears hijab and everything. Obviously, when you're Muslim, you're not allowed to do music, innit? But she does spoken word, but she adds like beats on it. And obviously, certain people tell her you're not really allowed to do that and stuff like that. But realistically, she's going through that kind of battle as well. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, where do you guys stand in terms of like even just in general, like religion? Because obviously, I don't know if you guys saw a little bit of like. I had a really interesting conversation recently with a friend of mine and we were talking about religion, innit? And what are your takes on religion just in general? obviously in whatever you want to share with us, innit? Just in general.
I think all religion has a stem of like oneness.
Yeah.
So how people want to say this religion is different from that religion and that religion, you don't have the same God as me.
Yeah.
But really, all religion has one basis. It all comes to a oneness of truth.
Yeah.
So really, there's not much difference between religion. Like, I see it all as a oneness.
Yeah.
But how I see, really, for me, I just want to have my own spiritual path and not be dictated to by like maybe what someone wrote.
I completely agree with
ago.
you. I'm like, yeah.
You know, I want to tell my own story and connect myself with. I want to pray how I want to pray. I don't necessarily have to say a prayer that someone else writ.
Yeah. Do you believe that there's an actual God out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, goddess.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. I just thought I'd just ask in case there's some people trying to put 20 together. You get me?
Yeah.
So do you also believe that you've got? Because for me, this is what I believe as well. I've got my own relationship with God. When I pray to God, I talk to Him in my own way because I believe I've got my own personal relationship with God. Do you believe you've got your own personal relationship with God?
I tell you a story?
Besides being obviously spiritual.
Yeah. What happened to me when I was 6 years old?
Yeah.
I was confused because my dad's Sikh, 100% Punjabi Sikh.
Yeah.
You know, took us to Sikh temples. But then I was raised with my mum a lot, and my she's Spanish and Irish, so they're a lot Catholic.
Okay.
So go to church, and I went to a Catholic school as well, run by nuns. So we went to church, got baptized and stuff. And then when my dad took us to the Gurudwara, which is the Indian temple, the Punjabi temple, the way that they pray is different. So like they'll sit on the floor, not on a seat, and they'll cross their legs and they'll meditate. And there'll be someone playing the drum and playing music, and they'll be why guru, why, like you're meditating but you're singing.
Yeah, sound more spiritual.
Time. Yeah, and they read like a poetry.
Yeah,
and it's kind of more like a song.
Yeah,
and then they give you food, and then you go down and you all eat together. Like, and you have to cover your head.
Yeah,
you know, only when you're in the temple. You don't have to when you're outside. Some people do wear turban.
Yeah,
but then I was confused. I was like, I said to myself, because I was quite strong connected to spirit as a kid, like knew my past lives, you see energy. So I said to myself, I said to the spirit, because I was always connection with spirit. I said, hang on, I'm confused. What one do I have to believe in? Which one do I choose? Do I have to choose one? Or like why are they different? And like, if it's meant to be God, goddess, why is it different different ways? And then I got a vision. I remember being in the back of the car when my mum was driving, and I just had this vision of Mary. And Mary, she came in my vision, and she said to me, you don't have to choose, they're all the same. Really, underneath, they're all the same. And as long as you've got love in your heart and you're always connected to the spiritual realm, like I don't necessarily believe in like Jesus and Mary. Maybe they were real. Maybe most of the stories made up, or maybe there was actually similar characters like enlightened gurus. I do believe that there are masters and spiritual prophets and people with spiritual powers, 100%. Yeah, I met some.
Honestly, not to be rude. Sorry to cut. I'm so sorry to cut you, by the way. Not to be rude or whatever, because obviously when we speak about religion, a lot of people, you know, they've got their own opinions on religion. Some people get touchy. Some people, you know what I mean. So not to even offend anyone. The only reason why I've got my own personal relationship with God. Because I'm from a Muslim family. My family is Muslim, but obviously growing up as well, like you said, how you had your, you know, your awakening. Like for me, I got to a point where I just feel like basically, like, a lot of things in religion is basically been made up. Basically, that's how I feel basically for me as well. Because when I done my own research over the years and stuff like that, I just got to a point where it's like I saw a lot of people contradicting themselves. There was a lot of people being fake, not really, really living what they're preaching. So it's like, I just got to a point when I thought to myself, yeah, man, there's a lot of lying in this. And obviously, how am I going to dedicate my whole life and my whole faith into something that might be a lie and something that might be tampered with as well? You know what I mean? Because I feel like even like with a lot of these books that people are sensitive about, again, not to offend anybody, I feel like the Quran, the Bible, I feel like a lot of these books over the years, they've been tampered with as well. And the older I get, funny enough, the older again, the more self-work I do on myself. Honestly, my soul tells me, yeah, you're absolutely right. So you keep on having your own relationship with God, you go on to say, and you'll be alright. So that's the way I feel as well. How about you, D? Like, what is your personal what is your take on religion in general?
My take on religion in general, coming from my background, I was originally christened as a Greek Orthodox, but in my family home, we didn't really have a relationship to the spirit. spiritual world or the other dimension. We never really went church.
Yeah.
They weren't really disciplined when it came to praying and that.
Yeah.
Only
Would you
when
say
I went to my grandma's
your household?
we prayed.
I'm so sorry to cut you. Would you say your household? But once
my
again,
household was a typical Western British household.
like basically like
say.
atheist. Would you say like kind of like atheist?
I would
kind of
say
household?
nothing. Even though I was christened, they never spoke to me about God or nothing like that. No one was religious in my home, not even my dad.
Okay.
Even though my grandma was really religious, but my mum and my dad wasn't. So it was just a name. Oh, what religion are you? Oh, I'm a Greek Orthodox. But I don't actually go to church.
Yeah,
so then as the years went by, I started to, find my own way. I started to attend a lot of African churches when I was a teenager. And then I found that, they wanted me to be someone that I had to be a certain person. Like at one stage, one of the priests said, if you don't come up now, you're gonna go to hell. From that stage, I never went back to church. I never went back to church. I was like, dead.
Well in hell.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What?
So I left, and then
that's actually crazy.
as I started awakening, when I had kids, then I started looking into like spiritualism, energy.
Sorry, by the way, every time I cut any of you guys when you're talking, I apologize. Sorry, because sometimes when somebody says something and it's like, oh, let me get this in case I forget. If you don't mind, at what age did you start this journey in terms of like obviously when you had your kids and you started the spiritual journey? At what age did you?
Okay, how old was I? I was 22.
Okay, cool.
So at 22, I started the journey of like energy and
cool.
Having a relationship with the other dimensions and that, and stop listening to music, stop watching horror movies, stop conjuring the devil without even realizing. Do you get what I'm saying? So as I started to practice, like the violet light and the flames, and I started looking into different traditions, different religions, but in general, I also agree with what Sophia says, is that I feel that all religions, it all comes to one source. It's the same source that we all tap into. Yeah. I call it my highest self, my highest divine. Right. You might call it God. Do you know what I mean? It's the same source, I feel. And I just feel like these different religions, it's just like a different language. They're spoken in a different way. So I might not understand your Bible, but I'll understand someone else's Bible. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And my journey, I personally don't have a religion, but I feel that my ancestors, I'm Greek, Jamaican, Indian,